What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Keeping Up with KP. In today's episode, I'm going to give you a prep update. I am 11 weeks out as of yesterday. So I'm going to take you through where I'm at physically, but also where I'm at mentally, because so much of this process is mental, right? So physically, we're sitting in a really good spot. This last week, I hit my lowest body weight this prep, which was 125.6. And so right now, we don't want or need to go any lower than that. This has been such a great prep. My body has been so responsive. So being where we're at now is exciting because we've already implemented new strategies and we're continuing to implement new strategies. So where we're at physique wise, my upper body is getting a little out of control. So what we are changing is we are pulling back on upper body a bit. I have started another series and I will get into this a little bit later on, but it's called Ask the Amateur, and I'm answering questions I get asked most frequently as an aspiring IFBB bikini pro. And a question I'm going to be answering in the coming weeks is, what is my training split? So I'm not going to go too into that in this episode, but I will just say my training split is yet another strategy that has been new since before this prep, actually. So my training split has been 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days, and it's actually 2 days on, 1 day off. So my training days are not attached to the days of the week. My rest days are not attached to the days of the week, and it just kind of rotates. And the reason I was able to implement this is because I got my life to a really great place where I could allow that flexibility. So my training split isn't just a training split, it is also my training cadence. And so that's what it's been this whole prep. But now we are changing it yet again, which is going to help me progress into the show. This is just another example of why this prep is so awesome and why my coach is so awesome, because most coaches don't give you this attention to detail, to be completely honest with you. And so with this strategy, we're really able to individualize my training split and my training cadence to maximize on recovery, pull back on upper body, and to improve the lower body going into my season and into these shows. So right now with training, that is what we're doing. This is new. And then also with cardio, I have not really been doing a crazy amount of cardio at all whatsoever. The most I have done this prep is 45 minutes. And I think that was just for about a week, 7 days. And we've just pulled back and pulled back. So right now I'm not doing any cardio on my lower body days. I'm just doing it on my upper and rest days. And as of right now, it is just 30 minutes. And then I have a 7,500 step goal, and that's it. So that pretty much covers what we're doing with the training and the cardio. However, the added layer is my mobility work. And if you have not watched my previous episodes, you should, because mobility work has been something I added in this prep, and I didn't think I was gonna be so passionate and so excited about mobility work, but I am obsessed, you guys. This has changed everything. So I got put on a personalized mobility program because this prep, I was having a lot of aches and pains at the beginning, specifically in my hips. And so we addressed that. I did my daily mobility work. I went for my follow-up, and then I was starting to have knee pain. So then we addressed the hips and the knees. And then I went back for another follow-up, and then I was having pain in my back, because what happens is when you have these limitations in your body and you start to correct them, then you start to compensate in other areas of the body. And that's exactly what has happened. And so if you are going to do mobility work, I suggest fast tracking it just like I did, because I have gotten so much relief. And mobility programs truly should be the same as a training program, you guys. It's not just getting the plan, but it's executing the plan consistently, and it's following up and progressing with the plan. And that's exactly what I've done. And it's changed my training, it's changed my posing. Truly, I think it's changed my mood, because I'm not having all of these aches and pains, and it's exciting for me to go and train. But what is happening now when I train is that I'm really having to relearn these movements because I have been doing the same exercises for 3 years. We might change exercises every once in a while, like we did last season when I got feedback from judges. But pretty much I have been doing the same exercises this entire time. And that will be another question that I answer, is how frequently you should change your training program, because I have gotten that question too, but we'll save that for another day. But it's interesting because when you have been doing these exercises and following the same program for so long, and then all of a sudden you start addressing limitations that you have in your body, you essentially have to relearn these movement patterns. And that's exactly what I've had to do. So once my hips opened up, I got a better range of motion, but then I started dumping into my back. And so now that we're addressing my back and I'm correcting my form, I'm following different cues. Just by changing these little things, you're actually able to target different muscle fibers. Because, for example, in my RDLs, I was pretty much always sitting into my hips and pushing through my heels. And in doing that, it was putting strain on my lower back, especially once we corrected my hips. That's when I really noticed it. And so now shifting my weight to more so like the middle of my foot and not into my heel, I'm feeling it more in my glutes. I'm not having pain in my back. However, I'm not able to go as heavy. And so I'm really relearning all of these things right now, which has made my training very interesting. I actually get more into this in my next episode, where I take you to my follow-up with Dr. Kyle and we go through all of this. So if that interests you, stay tuned for next week. But that pretty much wraps up the physique, the training, and all the things. So nutrition wise, we have implemented new strategies this entire time. In previous preps, we would always use like 1-day refeeds. And so this season, we were trying consecutive days. So we tried 2 consecutive high days first, just to see how my body responded. Then we did 3 consecutive high days. And then we did that again, but we did even higher food. So we have tried all 3 of those out. All of them went great. And now, because we are kind of doing like a maintenance / rebound phase for like the next 3 weeks or so, we've just increased my base food. So on my rest days and on my training days, food is a bit higher, because before, when we were doing these high days, my base food was lower. But we haven't even lowered my base food once. Since we did my original like base plan drop from improvement season to prep, we never had to go any lower, and we might have to later on, but as of right now, my base food only was taken down once. That's just a testament to how responsive my body has been. But what changed this week was just increasing my base food. And with implementing these new strategies, these consecutive high days, I feel like my fatigue has been very manageable. There has been a couple rough days, I will say, but like I might have had like a couple hungry days on my rest days because my food's lower. But I mean, for the most part, you guys, this has been just like a very manageable, tolerable, just awesome prep, if I'm being completely honest with you. And that just makes me feel like so grateful. Competition prep can be a really life-changing experience for you. Like, I can't tell you one competition season that I came out the same person that I was at the start. And I'm meaning that in a good way. I have always evolved as an athlete and as a person each competition season. And really, that's where we can start to transition into the mental aspect and where I'm at this week, 11 weeks out. Because I think for me this week, the biggest lesson and the biggest takeaway has been my mindset and mentality, because this prep has just reignited like a whole new passion and fire inside of me. Like, I'm already an extremely like passionate person. I am a fire sign. I am Aries, and also it is almost my birthday, but we will get into that. Like, Aries season just started like 2 days ago. But with that, I've been reflecting a lot on the journey and on this prep. And this is the first prep where my conditions are by no means perfect, but they're the best they have ever been. And I'm meaning that with just like the alignment in my life. Most people who compete aren't able to dedicate and revolve their life solely around being an athlete. I mentioned before that my husband and I like literally rearranged our lives to revolve and to complement, hopefully that's the goal, is to complement around pursuing bodybuilding and becoming our best selves and seeing what we're capable of and seeing how far we can take this, right? And in doing that, it's come with a lot of sacrifice, but it has built me into the person that I am today. And so I have arrived at a place in the journey where my life is able to revolve around this process as much as it can. I have a very heavy workload, but everything I'm doing complements the work that I'm doing. And I'm able to add value to our businesses because we are new business owners, but I'm able to add value to our businesses by being an athlete and by sharing the journey and by creating programs. And because I now have that alignment, this prep has just been so fulfilling, truthfully. And I'm so grateful for it. But what happened this week, because this fire is just like burning real hot and real bright, it was just like this level of obsession. And I feel like it started because of the mobility work and like how quickly I saw I was able to get relief and how quickly I was able to feel better, because this has been like in a matter of 5 weeks and it's literally changed everything. And so I started getting addicted and obsessed with getting better and with doing this mobility work and with training and with posing, because these are things I always kind of like, was dragging my feet towards and avoiding because of the discomfort and limitations I was having in my body. Like it's never been like an exciting thing for me to pose or to train because I didn't think there was anything I could do about it. I thought I was just turning a year older, I was getting older, I was having aches and pains. And so when I took the action steps to get better and to do something about it, and I realized how quickly these things could improve, like a flip almost switched in me that translated to all areas of my life. Because this YouTube venture and social media is also like pretty new for me too, right? And at first it just feels like you're talking to the void, because in a sense you are, but I've just been obsessed with like creating tighter feedback loops so that I can get better faster. And so I've just been applying that to all areas of my life. And I think the other value in having a wonderful coach, a coach that doesn't just give you a generic plan and send you on your way, but my coach and my check-in process is pretty elaborate, where now another new strategy is I send like a 3 to 5, no, it's supposed to be 2 to 3 minutes, but it's usually closer to 5, 5-minute video of me just kind of like verbalizing what has been going on this week and just kind of like having that rapport, right? And it's just been a very valuable thing for me to like sit down and do that, but also for me to do that with my coach and just like have an exchange so that he can really understand where I'm at physically, mentally, like feel my energy, see my energy, And that's something I brought up in this week's check-in because it was really starting to affect my sleep. Like I was just so obsessed with these programs that I'm creating for our businesses and all my social media ideas, and there's only so much time in the day, right? And I just want to like squeeze everything out of the day that I can to get better and improve. And I was starting to recognize that it was starting to negatively impact me a little bit. And so for me, I've always been somebody that just thrives in chaos, truly. I do my best work when the pressure is on and it's just like chaos around me. But I've also kind of always held that over my head and in a sense measured my success by the amount of chaos that was going on, and like not in a good way. So for me, if my life is chaos, no matter how good of work I'm doing, I don't feel like I'm succeeding because I know that there's chaos, even though I'm enjoying it. And even though that's when like my fire is burning brightest. I hope you're able to follow this. But what my coach said to me this week, and it's just like really changed my mentality, it was basically giving me permission to allow that and for that to be okay. And that's something I've never done. I truly have just like really always held that against myself, because that obsession and that drive, like it actually needs to be there. And in a sense, life is always going to be chaos, no matter what. But it's more so about controlling that chaos. And I think that really just starts in your mind. And I've been saying a lot that I have learned how to execute in imperfect conditions. And so I think executing in imperfect conditions and controlling your chaos are two things that just really go hand in hand. And I think this week I've just recognized that. And the takeaway was really allowing that chaos to be there and making sure that I'm able to control that chaos. And the way I control that chaos is by anchoring in and being an athlete first. Because when your faculties start to slip, so your sleep, your meals, your routines, your regimens, your training, everything kind of just starts to fall apart. And so balance is the wrong word, because there's never going to be balance in life when you're pursuing something great, right? But I think for me, it's just learning to control that chaos. Since I was able to like really piece all of this together in my mind, it's allowed me to ground back in, because where I'm at today, I'm a little burned out because I have just been like on freaking fire all week long. And again, it was starting to affect my sleep and it's starting to like wear on me. But I think just having these exchanges and just like it just doing the work, you guys. This is the work. This is how you don't stay the same. This is how you evolve as an athlete and as a person through this, is by doing this kind of work exactly. And hopefully this message is reaching or resonating with somebody that might need to hear it too, because never in my life have I given myself permission for chaos to exist. And so moving forward mentally, and what I'm working to do is to be an athlete first. And when I say that out loud, it already like grounds me in, because I know exactly what that means for me. And I can recognize very easily when I'm not being an athlete first and when I am letting that chaos control me. And also with these feedback loops is finding that fine line of not doing the most, but doing more. And so I'm figuring out what that means for me. But in regards to my social media, I do have a couple exciting things to share. I've started a few new series, and these are ideas that I have had that have just been like sitting there for a very long time. And I think for me, that's where a lot of the stress comes from in my life, is just like not taking action. And me, just like most people, we don't take action because we don't want to fail. You know, like the devil we know is better than the one we don't. Like if we're comfortable doing what we're doing, even though it's not doing the best, sometimes that feels safer than acting on a new idea because we don't know how it's going to turn out, right? And so I've just kind of gotten addicted or obsessed with failing faster. But I think there is a fine line with failing faster and doing too much. So I'm right now just trying to reel it back in, not trying to spin out of control, letting that chaos live and be there without controlling me, but like above all, just being an athlete first and really just trying to be more present in my life, because truthfully, this is the happiest I've ever been in my life. And my conditions are not perfect, you guys. Like we just went through a huge move, a huge transition in the business. We're living in a rental house that doesn't even feel like my own. I feel like we're living in a hotel. And so you would think that for me, perfect conditions would be when we're in our forever home, and like those things don't even matter to me. Like we literally haven't even unpacked. We can't even walk through our garage because we're working 24/7, and what's the point in unpacking when we're not going to be here that long? But I am just so good and content with what my circumstances are, because they are so much better than what they have ever been, like ever in my life. So I've just been feeling very, very, very grateful for this process, what it has done for me, who I've become because of it, who I have met because of it, and really just everyone in my corner that is helping me to reach my full potential this season. So that is where we are at 11 weeks out. And again, this just feels like a very big week mentally, just like a lot of realizations for me, and this is just like the real and the raw and me doing the work and sharing it with you. And I really hope that you're getting value out of it. But I'm really excited to see where implementing all of these new strategies lands us at this next check-in. I'm really excited for what's ahead, and I'm really excited just to continue getting better and sharing the journey. So I will be posting 3 times a week now on YouTube. I've got my Monday Keeping Up with KP, my Wednesday Ask the Amateur, and my Friday 30 something. So I am sharing all the things in my life that have improved in my 30s or with age. So make sure to follow along with those journeys, and make sure to tune in next week for my follow-up with Dr. Kyle. That is what is coming next, all things mobility. But that is all I've got for you guys today. Please make sure to subscribe if you like this episode. Please like this episode. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to hear. If you have any questions for my Ask the Amateur series, drop it below. But grateful for the support, and I will see you guys in the next one.